Walk into nearly any commercial firearms retailer today, and you will undoubtedly be subjected to a pervasive and dangerous modern myth. The prevailing industry narrative aggressively pushes older shooters toward the latest micro-compact, high-capacity 9mm semi-automatic pistols, marketing them as the ultimate solution for home defense. From a purely mechanical standpoint, this is a profound disservice. When you are jolted awake in the dead of night by the sound of splintering wood, your central nervous system triggers an immediate autonomic response. Your heart rate accelerates instantly, adrenaline saturates your bloodstream, and the fine motor skills required for complex manipulation simply vanish. If you are a senior citizen managing the realities of arthritis, diminished grip strength, or stiff joints, attempting to aggressively rack a stiff 16-pound recoil spring or clear a catastrophic stovepipe malfunction in the dark is a devastating liability. A semi-automatic pistol is a complex reciprocating machine that demands a rigid biomechanical foundation. If you cannot maintain a firmly locked wrist, the slide will lose its kinetic energy, resulting in a failure to feed or eject. You do not need a machine that requires perfect conditions. You need a time-tested defensive tool that guarantees ignition. Today, we are discarding the tactical theater and focusing purely on metallurgy, historical provenance, and mechanical certainty. We are examining 7 revolvers engineered for uncompromising reliability, tailored for aging hands, and capable of delivering surgical precision. And I urge you to remain with us for the final firearm on this list, a mechanical masterpiece that perfectly resolves the historical limitations of the wheel gun and stands as the ultimate authority in personal defense. If you value mechanical purism and historical truth over fleeting trends, ensure you subscribe to Gun Sage as we preserve the heritage of American firearms. We begin our examination with a highly pragmatic approach to modern defense. The Taurus Model 856 Defender. For decades, the standard advice for concealed carry was to purchase a 2-inch snub-nose revolver. However, historically, those ultra-short barrels present a massive ballistic and ergonomic problem. They bleed off critical muzzle velocity, produce a blinding muzzle flash in low-light environments due to unburned powder, and offer a violently short sight radius that makes accurate shot placement incredibly difficult for aging eyes. The 856 Defender solves this geometry by utilizing a precisely machined 3-inch barrel with a 1 in 16 twist rate. This additional inch ensures a complete powder burn for the .38 special cartridge, drastically taming the flash while extending the sight plane. Gripping this forged steel variant, which tips the scales at an optimal 35 ounces, provides an immediate sense of utilitarian purpose. Unlike lightweight alloy frames that transfer every ounce of kinetic energy directly into your palm, this solid steel construction acts as a necessary anchor, eating the sharp snap of modern +P defensive loads, pushing 1,000 feet per second. Modern computer numerical control machining has transformed the internal lockwork of this platform, providing a rugged, coil spring-driven transfer bar action that yields a highly functional 3.0 minute of angle precision standard. For a dedicated truck gun or an uncompromising backup tool stored in a climate-sealed safe, this is a fiercely reliable instrument. While the manufacturer suggests a retail price of $389, astute buyers can routinely secure these on the commercial market for roughly $320. Transitioning from raw utility to a marvel of modern engineering, we must analyze the Ruger LCRx chambered in the highly efficient .327 Federal Magnum. Holding this revolver presents a fascinating contrast. It possesses an astonishingly low weight of 17.7 ounces, yet it projects an aura of absolute capability. The traditional problem with lightweight revolvers has always been the punishing, heavy double-action trigger pull that forces the shooter to pull the muzzle off target. Ruger's engineering division solved this by designing a patented, friction-reducing cam system within the fire control group. In legacy designs, the mechanical resistance stacks and grows heavier as the mainspring compresses. The LCRx utilizes cam geometry to continuously alter the mechanical leverage throughout the trigger stroke, resulting in a completely uniform, non-stacking pull that feels significantly lighter than its actual measured weight. This is a profound mechanical advantage for an individual with severe arthritis. The architecture itself is a hybrid triumph, utilizing an aerospace-grade aluminum upper frame married to a high-strength polymer fire control housing. When you fire the devastating 100-grain projectile at a blistering 1,400 feet per second, that polymer actually flexes on a microscopic level, absorbing the kinetic shockwave before it can travel into your skeletal structure. Offering 6 rounds of Magnum-level terminal ballistics with vastly reduced recoil and a clinical 2.5 minute of angle accuracy from its 3-inch barrel. The LCRx is a sophisticated survival tool. The factory retail price stands at $739, with standard dealer pricing settling comfortably at $600. As we move toward premium concealment and exacting tolerances, the Kimber K6s Target demands absolute respect. Drawing this instrument from a leather holster, you immediately recognize the meticulous nature of its construction. It feels like a solid billet of premium 410 series stainless steel, yet it features a remarkably sleek, snag-free profile. The engineering triumph of the K6s lies in its dimensional footprint. Kimber successfully produced the absolute smallest 6-shot, 357 Magnum cylinder in the world. They accomplished this mechanical feat by recessing the chambers and utilizing advanced, high-tensile stainless steel alloys that require less physical wall thickness to safely contain the massive 35,000 pounds per square inch of chamber pressure. Weighing 25.5 ounces, in utilizing a 4-inch barrel with a 1 in 16 twist, it aggressively stabilizes 110 grain hollow points at 1,150 feet per second, maintaining a surgical 1.5 minute of angle accuracy. Furthermore, the internal trigger geometry is completely refined, delivering a factory-tuned double-action stroke that rolls straight through the break without hitting a sudden, disruptive wall. For an older shooter who struggles with traditional sliding cylinder latches, the K6s incorporates a smooth push-button release, requiring far less joint manipulation to execute a reload. It is an uncompromising bridge between Magnum power and manageable ergonomics. The premium asking price is $1,184, though dedicated collectors can often find them near $980. Stepping back into the realm of pure, unadulterated combat heritage, we examine the Smith & Wesson Model 67. To hold the Model 67 is to hold the lineage of the mid-20th century American law enforcement officer and the United States Air Force. Based on the legendary K-frame combat masterpiece, this revolver is a study in perfect balance. Many contemporary voices insist that you must carry a Magnum for personal defense, completely ignoring the mechanical realities of aging hands. The Model 67 is chambered exclusively in 38 Special, which provides a massive structural advantage. The cylinder is shorter and specifically timed for this lower pressure cartridge, guaranteeing tighter lockup and enhanced rotational consistency. When you combine this dedicated chambering with a robust 36-ounce stainless steel frame, the recoil impulse is virtually eradicated. Firing standard pressure 130 grain ammunition at a highly manageable 850 feet per second feels akin to operating a rimfire target pistol. The 4-inch barrel, utilizing a 1 in 18.75 twist rate, delivers a highly dependable 2.0 minute of angle accuracy. The traditional leaf spring action is incredibly smooth, and the fully adjustable rear sights allow aging eyes to perfectly calibrate their point of impact across various ammunition grain weights. In a scenario where supply chains falter, 38 Special remains one of the most heavily stockpiled cartridges in existence. Expect a factory price of $969, with well-maintained secondary market options sitting near $800. For those who demand structural invincibility, we turn our attention to a machine that simply refuses to fail, the Ruger SP-101. Picking up this revolver is an exercise in appreciating raw, unyielding density. It feels less like a firearm and more like an indestructible block of stainless steel. Mechanically, the SP-101 is a triumph of modern metallurgy. Traditional revolver designs rely on a side plate secured by small, easily stripped screws to access the internal lockwork. Ruger circumvented this inherent weakness by employing a proprietary investment casting process, creating a solid frame architecture where the entire fire control group drops out from the bottom. This means the structural integrity of the frame walls remains entirely uncompromised. Adding to its legendary durability is the triple locking cylinder mechanism. By locking the cylinder at the rear, the bottom, and the front of the crane, the SP-101 ensures perfect timing and critical alignment, even after enduring thousands of high-pressure Magnum detonations. Tipping the scales at a reassuring 27 ounces empty with a 3.06-inch barrel and a 1 in 16 right-hand twist, it routinely pushes premium 125 grain Magnum loads at 1,300 feet per second. For the older shooter, that dense steel frame acts as a massive thermal and kinetic heat sink, swallowing the punishing rearward energy and protecting arthritic wrists. It maintains a 2.5 minute of angle standard and represents the ultimate grid-down survival tool, capable of firing dependably even when severely fouled. The suggested retail price is $989, with secondary market values consistently holding at $750. Advancing to a platform defined by sophisticated internal geometry, we evaluate the Colt King Cobra target. Taking the King Cobra in hand reveals a remarkably sleek, refined balance. It operates with the precision of a surgical instrument wrapped in heavy-duty forged stainless steel. The mechanical superiority of this modern Colt lies in its reliance on a linear leaf spring action. Where most modern competitors utilize coil mainsprings that inherently stack and increase in resistance, Colt's heavy-duty leaf spring delivers a remarkably uniform, non-stacking double-action stroke. The pressure required to sweep the trigger to the rear remains completely consistent until the moment of ignition. For a senior shooter with compromised grip strength, this geometry ensures the muzzle is not pulled low and left during the heavy double-action pull. The frame houses a robust transfer bar safety, making the weapon completely drop-safe. Weighing 36 ounces, it features a 4.25-inch barrel utilizing a unique Colt hallmark, a 1 in 14 left-hand twist rate. Loading this magnificent piece of machinery with standard pressure, 38 special drives, a 158-grain slug at roughly 900 feet per second, yielding an incredibly soft shooting experience and an undeniable 1.2 minute of angle accuracy. The factory lists the price at $999, and due to immense collector demand, actual retail values hold firm at around $900. Finally, we arrive at the absolute pinnacle of this list, a firearm that perfectly embodies the philosophy of uncompromising authority and mechanical perfection, the Smith & Wesson Model 686+. To understand the brilliance of the 686, you must understand the historical engineering problem it solved. In the late 20th century, law enforcement agencies discovered that their lighter K-frame revolvers were suffering catastrophic forcing cone fractures from a steady diet of high-velocity, lightweight Magnum ammunition. Smith & Wesson engineers responded by forging the L-frame. This architecture was explicitly designed to absorb continuous, punishing Magnum pressures without adopting the massive, cumbersome dimensions of the larger end-frame. Gripping the 686 Plus feels like shaking hands with absolute certainty. It weighs a substantial 38.9 ounces, and its true mechanical advantage for the aging shooter lies in its massive full lug barrel. That solid steel underlug acts as a gravitational pendulum, placing crucial static weight directly at the muzzle. When you drive heavy 158-grain defensive loads downrange at 1,250 feet per second, that underlug drastically dampens muzzle flip, allowing older hands to effortlessly maintain sight acquisition through the recoil impulse. The traditional coil mainspring delivers a smooth, deeply predictable action that yields a clinical 1.5 minute of angle accuracy from its 4-inch barrel with a 1 in 18.75 twist rate. Offering 7 rounds of devastating terminal capability with 0 magazines to lose, springs to fatigue, or feed ramps to jam, the 686 Plus is your ultimate perimeter defense anchor. The suggested retail price sits at $979, while the realistic street price hovers near $820. Chewy. The reality of personal preservation is entirely indifferent to marketing campaigns and tactical fads. You do not miraculously rise to the occasion under the stress of a home invasion. You default immediately to your baseline level of training and the mechanical certainty of your equipment. The superior defensive tool is the one that functions with absolute reliability every single time the trigger is pressed, regardless of your physical limitations, joint stiffness, or the chaotic environment around you. I invite the veterans, the retired law enforcement professionals, and the seasoned mechanical purists watching today to utilize the comment section. Share your historical experiences and the defining moments when you realize that a flawlessly timed piece of forged steel was the only tool you truly needed. Stay vigilant, honor the heritage of your firearms, and remain uncompromising in your defense.